Thank you so much for joining us. Now we have Jeremiah Agala. I hope I got that right.
Yes, you do.
And Jeremiah Agala is the convener, Emerging Youth Conference, and also the Rest Logic
Nigeria.
Nigeria
Yes.
organization. Thank you so much for being part
Thank you
of it.
so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
So what is going on? You are going to organize an event for emerging youth, especially as the elections are coming.
Yes.
What motivated that?
Okay. The Emerging Youth Leaders Conference is the second in the series. We've had other conferences. In June, we had the National Youth Leadership and Enterprise Conference in Abuja.
Right.
So last year, at about this time, we also had the Emerging Youth Leaders Conference in the South. So my desire to have the second edition is driven by the desire to raise leadership awareness amongst young people.
Right.
I've gotten to the point where I've discovered that there's a difference between being a leader and being in leadership positions. And a lot of times we tend to confuse the two. And so young people do not even know what to look out for in a leader aside the position the leader occupies.
Holds, okay.
So we're all carried away by it's either a political party or he's fit for the job because he looks good, or somehow maybe because of some of the things he say or do. And I think it's high time we begin to bring youth to the point where they can actually look out for who a leader is beyond position, beyond charisma, beyond some of the things they see, to be able to identify, can this person be a true leader? So that's one of the reasons why we are putting the South Emerging Youth Leaders Conference together, to basically raise the bar of leadership, raise the awareness for young people to look out for certain traits, certain attributes, before you can actually say this can actually make a good leader.
Okay, now how is that going? I mean, the elections are coming at the moment.
Yes.
There's so much activity.
Yeah.
Are you finding youths that are even interested to understand how to look out for these true leaders?
It's a process. We cannot tell you that everybody is going to buy into the vision just immediately. We're on course, a journey. It may not happen today, it may not happen tomorrow, but certainly we'll get to a point where young people will begin to sit down and truly scrutinize who a leader is before actually making a choice. Yes, there's so much activities going on right now. Young people are crazy. Some are belonging to political parties based on what they feel is right. We want to begin to create that education where people can make informed decisions,
right,
not just because of liking the face of a person
or sentiments
of religion or
yes,
ethnicity,
exactly,
or the like. So we want to get to the point where we can look beyond that. We are growing, we'll get there, and I'm sure in no distant time we'll be there. But at the moment, we are getting the attention we need, but it may not be at the peak just yet, but we're on course.
But would you admit that there's some sort of revolution around young people and their awareness right now when it comes to leadership? I mean, we're beginning to see and hear conversations around individuals somewhat interrogating their intentions and mandate and all of that. Are you excited or even admitting that there's such a revolution?
There's something called passion. And passion without knowledge is destructive. So we are passionate, we are driven by, young people basically are driven by the passion for change. The awareness, the so-called revolution today isn't like this in 2015,
exactly,
but we had a bit of it. And that drove us to what we have today as a government,
right,
because we were in dire need for change in a hurry. We are at the cross of same matter today, because young people are tired of the status quo. They are tired of what is going on. They desperately need a change. But the question is, looking at what happened in 2015 and what is happening now, have we really sat down to look at things holistically? Are we not recycling same leaders? What has changed? Or are we just wanting a change of leadership? So these are questions that are begging for answers. We are saying young people should sit down. beyond wanting somebody to get into a position of leadership because he is eloquent or because he suits what you have in your mind, doesn't make him a leader. So there's revolution. There's so much noise around change right now. The awareness is heightened. Young people are interested in the process much more than they were in the past. But beyond that, do we have the right knowledge of leadership to be able to say between the leaders in government and those who are wanting to become leaders, do we have the right set of people to be elected?
That change.
So that's where we are at the moment. I'm excited that we want a change and youths are getting involved in the process. But what I'm skeptical about is the fact that we are not too sure they have the right kind of knowledge to be able to find out who exactly. So right now, as at today, you have young people who are in the process because he is from my ethnic group.
Right.
We have young people who are in the process because he feels young. We have people who are in the process because he suits my religion. These are not.
And you not even mentioned one that is very important.
Okay.
I heard somebody tell me, well, I'm supporting him because I have access to him. Should he emerge president or should he emerge governor, I can easily access him for whatever I might need.
I'm tactically staying away from that because I don't want it to seem like young people are going cap in hand to get things from these people. But there are people who are in the process because of what they stand to benefit beyond, not looking even at their future generation. They are not looking at the future. They are looking at what they stand to benefit in the now.
Right.
So once they are fine with what they can get, they are fine, and everybody can. So that's not actually leadership. That's not the kind of awareness or the revolution I crave for. I'm trusting that someday we'll get to a point where young people can critically sit down, hold these guys who we've elected to account and say, this was the agreement we had. This was what you said you were going to do, but you're not doing it. You may please take a bow. Let somebody who is more competent and who has all it takes to do the job take on the position. But until we get there, we are still far from reality.
That reminds me of what's going on in the UK at the moment. But
Sure.
let me ask you. I mean, you won't have the time to tell us all one should look out for. For
Sure.
some of the viewers right now who might not be able to attend your event
Sure.
later in next month, it is?
Yes, next month.
Yes.
On the 10th.
For some people who might not be able to attend that and are listening to you right now, what would be your suggestion as to what they should look out for when it comes to a true leader that would give us the Nigeria of our dream?
If I want to give my definition of leadership, I don't think any of the people we have today fits into that description.
But we would like to hear it nonetheless.
They may not fit into it, so that I don't discourage people who want to vote to go out to vote. But basically, I think we should look beyond rhetorics. We should look beyond charisma. We should look beyond statistics. We are Nigerian, all right? We are Nigerian. We are Nigerians. We should look out for what works for us beyond what they say to us.
Right.
You know, I want to say that leadership is influence. And influence is not a day's job. I've always said that loyalty is not cheap and loyalty isn't free. People pay for loyalty.
Right.
So we must get to the point where we can track your antecedents.
When you say pay for loyalty, I apologize. I need to cut in there.
Yes,
when you say pay for loyalty, what do you mean?
Leadership is empathy. Leadership is sympathy. Leadership is being there. Leadership is sacrifice. So when I say pay for loyalty, I'm not talking about monetary terms.
Right.
I need somebody. Now, for instance, we have a situation where everyone now is suspending their campaign to go look out for
it's
flood.
Not everyone, just two so far.
Okay.
Two so far.
Maybe some people are doing theirs silently and
Right.
then they may not be in the public space.
Exactly.
Now, all of this whole drama, can we see through it that it's not about politics? Is it genuine sympathy? Is it genuine empathy? Is it being there for the people. If they were not going to have anything in return, would they still do the things they are doing?
Right.
These are questions, these are things to question in leadership. Don't do the things you will not naturally do for me today because you want to get something from me. We are playing politics with a lot of things in this country. It's one thing to play politics. It's another thing to be a leader. We have a lot of politicians. We don't have leaders. What is going on today across the country? Do we have capacity to have handled it? Yes. But a lot of people have stayed clear from it because they are not in leadership position to have access to public funds. But they have access to personal funds
That
lying
could have,
down
exactly.
that would have done some of these things. You see somebody who is fine, well-to-do, lives in a community, and then the community has no roads. But because he's not in a leadership position or a politician, he stays away from it. But tomorrow when he wants to run for a particular political office, you see graders coming to grade the road. What is he trying to tell you? All of these things is a give and take thing. That's not leadership. Leadership is being there for the people. So there are lots of things to look out for beyond the noise we see around today.
Right.
Beyond all of these activities, leaders, politicians are getting involved in. No wonder they fight for personal recognition. You're not listening to me, I'm not listening to you. You come into my space, I come in. A lot of things are going. So you could tell that beyond what they are looking for, even some of the people who are supposed to be role models are becoming the thieves even within their own parties.
Right.
And then you talk about generating leaders from those kind of groups. There's a lot we need to look out for as young people in choosing leaders.
Well, it already, you're watering my mouth as to what this event is eventually going to turn out to be. It's already very insightful right now. But who are the people we are expecting to come speak? Are they professional leadership coaches? Or
Yes.
are you also going to appreciate young people who have distinguished themselves as well?
Okay, one of the things that not mentioned is the fact that one of the reasons why we have a lot of struggles among young people with
Strugglers, you mean?
struggles
Right, okay.
and then activities around politicians is the fact that they have intentionally impoverished the people. So they are using poverty as a weapon to get our loyalty. So one of the things the conference is going to address is the economic power of young people. Once I'm independent-minded, I can make informed decisions.
Right.
Because I know my decision is not based on my next meal. So I could tell you I don't want you.
Exactly.
And you don't pay me, I'm fine. So we want to begin to raise young people who are independent, who are economically empowered. That's why somebody will be in office for 8 years and there are no traceable jobs. There are no activities that had been engaged in for young people to be self-sufficient. The rate of unemployment is increasing by the day. So you see them hanging all around them because they're waiting for peanuts. So we're going to be addressing the economic aspect to it.
Right.
Now the theme of the conference is setting the agenda for 2023 and beyond. And one of the things we should know is that education has gone beyond the four walls of the school. We should be able to empower young people with skills that will make them self-sufficient.
Right.
We can actually be self-sufficient as a nation. So it's high time we begin to project these things. It's high time we begin to get dirty, trying to get our hands to work, rather than waiting for somebody to throw peanuts at us after 4 years, just because he wants to get our votes. So we'll be addressing that, and then we're getting professional leadership coaches who would be speaking to young people. And then there's going to be an interface between young people and the leaders, in quotes, because that's what we see as leaders.
Jeremiah, it's so funny. You just made a face when you said the leaders.
Yes,
in
because
quotes, because
that's the picture we see as leaders.
I hope they will not be there, and then you start mentioning their defaults and what they do not, attributes they do not have, and embarrass them.
No, we would throw it to them as a teaching.
Right.
So you would identify where you are not right, and then you make amends. So we would not embarrass anybody.
Now the event is taken to Akwa Ibom State.
Yes, please.
Why is that?
Because it's a South Emerging Youth Leaders Conference.
Right.
We had one in June, and it was at the city center in
Right.
Abuja.
So it's a
again.
regional.
At this point, this particular conference is a regional conference.
Right.
It's for the youths of the South. And they are the ones that actually need it the most.
Okay, thank you so much, Jeremiah Agala. Thank you so much for being part of the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
I wish you luck when you go ahead with your event.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.